Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. I'm going to demonstrate how to make this teddy bear. Now I'll show you the pattern that I'm using in just a moment, but I chose quilting fabric and I made mine out of Christmas themed fabric, but you can make it out of any fabric that you like. Make sure you read the back of the envelope for suggested fabric types. I used regular flat buttons, felt nose, and I put a little bow around its neck. Now on the pattern it shows the bear with a little vest. I will be making the vest, but it will be in a follow-up video coming soon after this one is released. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the pattern. Here is the pattern that I'm using, and it's made by McCall's, and it's called It's So Simple. And the pattern number is L9547. You can get this at Walmart, or go to walmart.com and you might be able to get it off of there. If you can't get this teddy bear pattern, almost all of the major pattern companies have teddy bear patterns. So you can really use any one that you want. They're all pretty much the same. You're still going to learn some basic sewing construction tips on how to do this. Now on the back, it tells you how much fabric you'll need. So whatever pattern company you go with, read the back and it will tell you the amount of fabric. For this bear without the cape, it's under a yard of fabric. When you open up the envelope, you're going to have a pattern sheet, or you might even have two pattern sheets that explain how to assemble all of this. You'll also see a little diagram of the pieces you will need. And for just the bear, if you're using this pattern, you'll need pieces 1 through 10. On your pattern sheet, it will also give you a suggested layout for placing your pattern pieces. Now this one has the fabric folded with the selvage edges together, and it shows you how to place it. On each pattern piece, it will tell you how many pieces you need to cut out. So it may say either 1, 2, or 4. So if your fabric is folded together and you cut out a piece and it needs 2, you only need to cut 1 time. But if it needs 4, you need to cut a second section out. So by having the fabric folded, it saves you a little bit of time. On the other pattern sheet, it will show you how everything is stitched together. It gives you a little diagram. And then off on the side, it will explain what you're to do in each one of these steps. So if you're working on a specific step number, you would go over here and look for the picture so you understand what's going on. Make sure you review this section here. And it talks about how the dart is stitched, and there are 2 darts in the bear, and it's on the back side of the bear. You'll do little clips in your seam almost on every area because there's a lot of curves. And then this is a ladder stitch. This is what you'll use to close the openings where your stuffing goes through. I'm not going to demonstrate how to do the ladder stitch, but if you need instruction on how to do it, I have a detailed video. I break it down. That link will be listed below your YouTube screen. So you need to scroll down to the description center section, and that link will be in there. And then it just shows you do a regular straight stitch, shows about the stuffing. There is 1 satin stitch area, and that is on the nose of the bear. While you're making this bear and you're matching your pieces together on specific seams, make sure you understand your markings. In other words, this is a little notch right here, and then occasionally you might see some little circles like this. What you want to do is take a fabric marker or some type of a marking pen, and you want to mark where these little notches are. So you want to just draw a little arrow like this, and then wherever there's little circle dots, you just put a little dot. And these are used to match up your seams. If this is the first time you've ever read a pattern and you're having a hard time understanding the terminology, I have a video called How to Read a Pattern that breaks down all this terminology and explains in detail what it all means. And that link will be listed below your YouTube screen in the descriptions section. This is step 1. I've got my fabric stitched together, and this is the side of the face that wraps around the nose. So you want to stitch this one section here together, doing a 1/4 inch seam. Step 2 is stitching the nose area to the section you just stitched. And you're going to be, you have this small little curve up here. You're going to put it down here. And I would finger press your seam open and then pin it together along here. So when you're pinning the side of the face and the nose section, I recommend you place a pin down here at the bottom of the nose, and then one up here and one up here. And then fill in the rest, and you will need a lot of pins. Now, when I'm in such a tight little area like this, I don't remove the pins down in here. Just stitch really slow over those pins so that you're not apt to break your sewing machine needle. So after you get it pinned, you want to stitch 1/4 inch seam around there, and throughout this project, all the seams are 1/4 inch wide. After stitching this seam, there is a lot of curves on this one. Some are very subtle curves, and this is a very sharp curve. You want to make sure that you go along and do little clips, and when you get down here to the tip of the nose, you want to do just a few more clips. Make sure you don't cut through your stitch line. Next is stitching the head back together. So you're going to take those two pieces, and this is a pattern piece labeled number 4. You'll see 3 notches here. That's the side that you stitch on. So you want to bring front sides together, stitch 1/4 inch seam along here, then do those little clips all along this edge. Next, make your ears. And so basically you just bring front sides together, stitch a 1/4 inch seam, do your little clips, and then turn it front side out. Then you're going to use just a very small amount of stuffing. Don't use too much. Insert it in, and then stitch close to the edge all along here. Here's the nose area. This is the tip of the nose, and then up here at the top, this is the top of the head, you're going to place the ears. And take your ears, and here's your seams. You got 2 seams, one here, one here. You're going to place one side of the ear about a 1/2 inch past your seam. So place it there. And you're going to need to use quite a few pins on this. I think I used 4. That's a lot of pins for this little piece. But it's the only way you're going to get it to lay properly, because you're working with a lot of curves and you're sort of having to bend and force this fabric to go to where you want it to go. And then I recommend you just do a stitch to hold it in place close to the edge along here. This is the piece for the back of the head. This pointed part here is the top of the head. So open this up and take this seam, and you're going to bring it to the front section of the head and put the seam right in between the ears. And then go ahead and pin it all along this edge and then this edge over here. After you've gotten it pinned, then stitch 1/4 inch seam, and then don't forget to do your little clips along the edge. Reach in through the neck opening and turn it front side out. And when you're done, it should look like this. Now this is piece number 8, which is your front section, and you're going to stitch along the side where the 2 notches are, which is this side right here. So stitch a 1/4 inch seam and then do your clips along the curved edge. Now you want to stitch the legs together. So you bring front sides together and stitching on 2 sides, the front side of the leg and then the back side of the leg. Pattern piece number 7 is the bottom of the foot or sole. Here's how it looks when it's pinned on. So the 2 circle dots go on the 2 seams. So there's a seam in the front of the leg and then a seam on the back of the leg. So your 2 circle dots go there. And then the little notches go on each side. Pin it down and then stitch 1/4 inch seam and then do your little clips along the edge. I did forget to mention something. When you're stitching the seam on the back of the leg, between the 2 notches, you want to leave it open. And you need this opening here, and that is used later to insert your stuffing. So after I stitch, I like to fold the edges back where the opening is and press it, and do it on both sides. Because when you go to close up the opening later and you're doing that ladder stitch, it's going to be a lot easier to know exactly where to insert your needle. After turning them front side out, you want to take the seam on the back and the seam on the front and bring them together like this. And then do a machine basting stitch across the top edge. And you do that on both legs. This is the body front, and this is piece number 8. And when you look at it, you're going to see a circle dot here and one there. And so you should have marked them on your fabric pieces. So here's mine right here. I'm going to flip it over to the front side of the fabric, and you're going to take your legs and you're going to be pinning them in between those sections. So you want to make sure that here's the toe. You want to have the toe face down so that the toe will face the correct side. This is the front of the bear, so you want the toe facing the front. So have it down. Pin your legs in between those 2 dots, and you're going to have another one over here on this side, and go ahead and stitch them down along the edge. This is pattern piece number 9. It's the back of the bear, of the body, the main body. Here is where your dart is. So you're basically bringing these 2 edges together. So you're folding it like that. You see where this little dot is here. So you stitch from here all the way out to the edge. And you have 2 sections that you do that on. You have 2 pieces to the back. See here, here's my dart here and here. Now, once you've got your darts made, then go ahead and stitch along this edge. Now you have 2 notches here. Don't stitch in between the notches. So stitch along here and here, and then don't forget to do your little clips along the curved edges. Here is your front section. Take the legs and curl them inside here. We want to get them out of the way. Take your back section where the darts are. Here's a dart here and here. The darts go down towards the bottom where the legs are. Go ahead and pin from this corner up here all the way around up to this corner. Don't stitch over the neck area. We need to leave that neck open. And stitch a 1/4 inch seam and then clip all of the edges. Now go through the neck opening and turn it front side out. This is pattern piece number 5 for the arms. You're going to have 4 pieces, 2 for each arm. Bring front sides together and you're stitching along this edge all along here. There are 2 notches. Make sure you don't stitch over the 2 notches because that's where you're going to insert your polyfill stuffing. Make sure you clip along your curved edges, then turn them front side out. Now you're going to attach your arms. So you want to go to the side seam, and at the arm, at the center right here, you're going to take that and take the center here and place it right over the seam. And then you're going to pin and then stitch it close to the edge. And then do the same thing with the other arm. Before you stitch them down, make sure that the paws right here are curving in towards the front and not the back. Now you want to take this and turn it wrong side out, or the back of the fabric facing out. Here is the bottom of the body, or the butt area. Here are the darts. Now turn it over to the front side. And you're going to have that seam going down the front right here. Now take your head, and here's the nose. And you're going to stick it with the nose side that's in the front of the body. So in other words, the nose is going to go on the inside just behind this seam. I hope that makes sense. And insert it in there. Then you're going to line up that center seam that went under the chin area with this center seam and continue pinning it around the neck area. So after you've got it pinned, you want to go ahead and stitch a 1/4 inch seam all the way around. Then when you're done, go ahead and go through the opening in the back right there and go ahead and pull everything out. Now your bear is ready to be stuffed. This is the type of polyfill that I'm using. This is called a dry polyester packing fiber fill. And they use this for dolls. And I found with the teddy bear, I got better results than if I used the standard, more soft polyfill stuffing. So it's really up to you. I purchased this at Walmart. Before you insert your stuffing, you want to break it up. It's all clumped together, so take a little bit at a time and break it up. Then you're going to go in through the hole in the back of the body, and then you're going to go up through and insert it up in the head. Now, it's going to take a lot of the stuffing to fill the head in. You want everything to be very stiff in the body. Otherwise, it's probably not going to sit very well. So you would go ahead, fill the head in, make sure there's no dents or indentations in the nose area at all. Then you want to go ahead and then fill in the rest of the body. Again, really packing it in there. Then close up the opening on the body using your ladder stitch. And again, if you do not know how to do one, they talk about it a little bit on your pattern sheet, or you can go to my detailed tutorial and learn how to do it there. Then go to your legs and arms, and on the legs, you want to again pack it in good, except about 2 inches on the upper part of the leg near the body. You want just a little bit, otherwise the bear will not be able to sit. And also for the arms, same thing. I didn't put too much in the upper part of the arm near the neck, otherwise the arms just stood straight out. So you want to just kind of sit the bear, take a look, see if it's all lined up the way you like it. You may need to add more, or you may need to remove some. Then once you get the arms and legs all stuffed, then go ahead and do your ladder stitch to close up the opening. To put the face on, I took the pattern piece for the nose area here, and I just placed it over this to find out where the eyes go. And you'll see 2 little circles on that nose area. And then you can either mark your fabric with a fabric marker, or I just stuck straight pins in exactly where the eyes are going to go. And you're using 1/2 inch buttons. I chose to use this type of button. I found it was just really easy for me to put on. And using needle and thread, put them on. The nose area, I cut my nose area out, and I believe that's pattern piece number 10. It's really tiny. It's on a little square of a pattern piece. I first glued it on, and then and I used tacky glue. And then you can do your satin stitch over the nose to seal it all off. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Remember, I will be making the vest. It will be in a follow-up video coming out soon. Now, if you're interested in other beginner sewing projects, then check below your YouTube screen for those video links. And if you're interested in Christmas projects, there will also be some beginners Christmas projects also listed below your YouTube screen. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl, this is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.